Jay, I have a question I'm sure there's tens of thousands of people in West Virginia would like to have the answer to. This state has been dominated, owned, and operated by the special interest in this state, along with their entrenched political machine. That goes for both parties, both the Democratic and the Republican Party in the state of West Virginia. We're just wondering what we can depend on J. Rockefeller at 1st January, if we're going to have to continue to put up with that type of thing. Or will J. Rockefeller operate the state of West Virginia for the first time in history for the people of West Virginia?
You made my speech for me. And I mean that. Now look, let's just put it bluntly. Governor Moore, right now, take the strip mining industry. The strip mining industry is destroying the state. It's destroying the job base of this state. It's destroying the environment of this state. It's destroying the future of the state. Governor Moore takes their money for political purposes. He takes it for their campaign. Therefore, Governor Moore is responsible and accountable for what they do. Now, you talk about special interest control. Well, that's the name of the game, Governor Moore and the strippers. Do you know that there are now 6,500 miles of high walls in West Virginia? You could go from his chair in the governor's office up to Pittsburgh, where Consolidation Coal has its headquarters, back and forth 13 times, and you'd measure the number of high walls, the destruction in West Virginia. Now that's Governor Moore. That's ruled by special interest.
Jay, I'd like to know if your job program for the state is just another political promise.
No, Jack, it's not another political promise. In fact, I got to tell you that I've invested more time and more of my own personal resources into that program than I have anything in my entire life. This thing's been 2 years in the making. It's going to produce 50,000 new jobs for West Virginia, and it's going to work. And the reason it's going to work is that it's a simple thing, based upon a simple concept. The state helps the communities get land, then the state helps the communities prepare that land, then the state helps the community market that land. Where you have industrial parks in West Virginia, you have jobs. Our problem is we don't have enough of them. Now, my job plan is going to work.
Let's look at the record for a moment. What about the governor? Hasn't he a better record than most of the governors before him?
I'm not interested in whether he has a better record than most of the governors before him. I know that I can do a lot more than he can. You see, I wouldn't agree with that. Anyway, I think that there has never been a governor in history that's as I say, bluntly enough, sold this state out to the strip mining interests as rapidly and happily and completely as Governor Moore. And I think that's a disgrace that will be his principal contribution to the history books. He's been an activist, but he's not been a performer. Now, I know that he has not produced on jobs. You know it and I know it. I know he has not produced on local roads and secondary roads. You know it and I know it. I know that he's been a disaster for our environment. You know it and I know it. And I know that he's been bad on things like workmen's compensation, fair treatment for people. You can get all kinds of mail from the governor and pretty postcards and Christmas cards, but you just be a working man or a working woman in a factory and get injured and go to Charleston and try and get help on getting workmen's compensation, and they slam the door right in your face. Now, that kind of fair treatment for our people, he's no good at. Because, as I said, his basic commitment is up there in Pittsburgh. He's the outsider. That's not the case with me. My commitment is to the people of West Virginia. And that's why when I mention Pittsburgh and other places, there's a difference when the decisions are made in Charleston by West Virginians for West Virginians as opposed to when they're made in Pittsburgh. Because our state has been knocked around enough. It's time we stood up for ourselves, and I'm the man to lead us to do it.